Hi, Chris Arnold here. Hey, I appreciate you clicking on the link to learn a little bit more about my consulting practice. And again, the consulting that I do is normally kind of thrown into a criteria of something people kind of put in the area of organizational health. And that can look a variety of different ways. And as I mentioned on my website, engagements can be a matter of a few months or all the way to the point of a interim leadership role that I step into with an organization. So, to try to give you a little bit of context of what that looks like in some environments. One of my favorite stories is when I first got started in the consulting world, coming out of, first of all, I've got about 18 years of corporate leadership experience, and then coming out of that in the 2008 timeframe, stepped into a coaching and consulting role and started my coaching and consulting business back then. And one of my first clients, when I first met with him, was a father of a family-owned business with kids in the organization, and it was a highway construction company. And after a couple meetings with that gentleman, he made a decision to go ahead and bring me on and to do just an initial assessment over the course of the first month to come in, get to know the team, and kind of give them a little bit of a assessment of the business. With one of the primary things that they were looking for was to develop a transition strategy as he was starting to grow in age and actually has passed on since that time. I always will remember a few months into the engagement, I was having a conversation with this gentleman, and he told me that at the decision point, when he the first meeting that he had, he felt that he was looking for somebody that had knowledge of their industry, highway construction. And so he had initially kind of ruled me out as an option. But after a couple meetings, what he came to recognize was that he didn't need expertise in highway construction. He had plenty of that within his own team. What he needed was somebody that was gifted and talented in the area of leadership and teams, and had an ability to come in to work with his organization to develop and execute an overall strategy on moving forward. And that's what happened in that particular arrangement. Was with that company for about 18 months, meeting on a regular basis a couple times a month with the leadership team. And we did some restructuring of the team and several other items that resulted in an exit of the business. And then ultimately through that exit, also the kids were also able to kind of discern, what their gifts and talents were and how best to transition from their perspective, as well as that business was passed on and sold to another organization. So that was just one of the initial engagements. And since that time, multiple other engagements of varying types. To include, the one that's most recent here with my engagement with Farm 360, which is more of an interim leadership role. Could be more than interim at this stage of the game, but the bottom line is that very active in the leadership of that organization and loving it. But to that point, still love to do consulting for others as well. So if you have interest in learning more on how I might be able to assist you and your team, I would welcome the opportunity to talk. Appreciate it. Have a great day.